The fluorescent lights in Murphy's diner buzzed with a dying rhythm that Cara Lennox had long since stopped hearing. At 2:47 a.m., the place was nearly empty, just old Eddie nursing his 5th cup of decaf in booth 2, and a man in booth 7 who'd been sitting there for the past hour without ordering anything beyond black coffee. Cara's feet ached with that deep, bone-tired throb that came from a double shift. She'd been here since noon, covering for Melissa, who'd called out sick again, which meant 14 hours of forcing smiles and pretending the bruise hidden beneath her carefully applied concealer didn't pulse with every heartbeat. The diner smelled like grease and coffee and the lemon cleaner she'd use to wipe down tables in another hour when her shift finally ended. The red vinyl booths were cracked with age, the chrome fixtures dulled by decades of use. Murphy's sat on the edge of a neighborhood in Philadelphia that real estate agents called transitional, which meant poor people lived there, but developers were circling like vultures. Cara moved through her closing routine with mechanical precision, refilling salt shakers and checking ketchup bottles. Her reflection caught in the window. 31 years old but looking older, dark hair pulled back in a ponytail that emphasized the sharpness of her cheekbones. She'd lost weight over the past 8 months, the kind of weight loss that came from stress and skipped meals and constant vigilance. Marcus was home with Lily right now, her 5-year-old daughter, who should have been asleep hours ago, but who Cara knew was probably lying awake, listening to Marcus's heavy footsteps, measuring his mood by the sound of beer cans opening, by the volume of the television, by whether he was muttering to himself or not. If you're enjoying this story so far, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe. Drop a comment telling me where in the world you're watching from. I love hearing from you. Cara's phone buzzed in her apron pocket. She pulled it out with trembling fingers, seeing Marcus's name on the screen. 3 missed calls in the past hour. Her stomach clenched. She stepped into the back hallway, away from Eddie's potential hearing, and called him back. "Where the hell have you been?" His voice was slurred, angry. "I've been calling. I'm at work. You know I'm at work." She kept her voice level, soothing. The tone she'd learned to use, the one that sometimes, not always, but sometimes, kept things from escalating. "Yeah, well, your kid won't stop crying. Says she had a nightmare. I told her to shut up and go back to sleep, but she won't listen." Cara's hand tightened on the phone. "Can you put her on? Just for a second?" "She needs to learn to deal with her own problems. You baby her too much." "Please, Marcus. Just let me talk to her." A long pause, filled with the sound of the television in the background, some late-night sports show turned up too loud, then shuffling, and Lily's small, trembling voice. "Mama? Hey, baby. It's okay. I'm here." "When are you coming home?" Lily whispered, and Cara could hear the tears in her voice. "I'm scared." "I know, sweetheart. Just 1 more hour. Can you be brave for 1 more hour?" "I tried to be brave, but the monsters are too loud tonight." Cara's throat tightened. Lily had started talking about monsters 6 months ago, right around the time Marcus's drinking had gotten worse, right around the time he'd started punching walls instead of just yelling. The monsters were Marcus's rage, his unpredictability, the way he filled their small apartment with a tension so thick it was hard to breathe. "Go to your room and lock the door, okay? Put your headphones on and listen to those stories Grandma sent you. I'll be home soon. Promise?" "I promise, baby girl." Marcus grabbed the phone back. "See? She's fine. You worry too much. Now hurry up and get home. I'm hungry." He hung up before she could respond. Cara stood in the hallway, phone pressed against her chest, forcing herself to breathe. 1 more hour. Just 1 more hour and she could go home, check on Lily, make sure she was safe. Then maybe 6 hours of sleep before her morning shift at the office building where she cleaned bathrooms, then the afternoon shift at the grocery store, then back here again tomorrow night. 3 jobs to keep them barely afloat in an apartment where the lease was in Marcus's name, where he controlled the money, where leaving meant Lily would be homeless because Cara had exactly $340 saved in an account Marcus didn't know about, and last month, and security deposit in this city was at least $4,000. She was trapped, and she knew it. Marcus knew it too. When she returned to the dining area, the man in booth 7 was watching her. She felt his gaze before she saw it, a weight, an attention that made the hair on her arms stand up. He was in his early 40s, she guessed, with dark hair touched with silver at the temples and eyes so pale they looked almost colorless in the diner's harsh lighting. Everything about him was controlled, precise. The way he sat with his back to the wall, the expensive watch on his wrist that caught the light, the tailored black coat draped over the seat beside him. This man didn't belong in Murphy's diner at 3 a.m. Men like him, wealthy, powerful, the kind who moved through the world with absolute certainty, They didn't eat in places with cracked vinyl booths and coffee that tasted like it had been sitting on the burner since yesterday. "More coffee?" Cara asked, approaching with the pot, her customer service smile firmly in place. "No." His voice was deep, quiet, with an edge to it that suggested he was used to being obeyed. "But I think you should sit down." Cara blinked. "I'm sorry." "Sit." He gestured to the seat across from him. "Please. I'm working. I can't just—" "Eddie," the man called, not taking his eyes off Cara. "You mind if I borrow your waitress for 5 minutes?" Eddie looked up from his coffee, squinted at the man, then at Cara. Something passed across the old man's face. Recognition, maybe, or fear. "Sure thing, Mr. Volkov. Whatever you need." Mr. Volkov. The name meant nothing to Cara, but the way Eddie said it, with that careful deference, told her everything she needed to know. This man was dangerous. She should have walked away, should have made an excuse, kept her distance, protected herself from whatever this was. But there was something in his expression, not threat exactly, but intensity, like he was seeing through her carefully constructed mask to the fear and exhaustion underneath. Cara slid into the booth across from him, setting the coffee pot down on the table. "I have 5 minutes. Then I need to get back to work." "The bruise on your cheekbone," he said without preamble. "Foundation, shade 4N. Good choice for your skin tone, but it's creasing. You touched it up around midnight, but it's been 3 hours. It's starting to show." Cara's hand flew instinctively to her face, and she saw the slight nod of satisfaction in his expression, confirmation that he'd been right. "I don't know what you're talking about." "Yes, you do." He leaned back, his gaze never leaving hers. "I've been sitting here for an hour, watching you. The way you flinch when the kitchen door swings open. The way you position yourself near exits. The way you checked your phone 6 times in the past 30 minutes with the expression of someone expecting bad news. I need to get back to work." She started to slide out of the booth, but his next word stopped her. "There's a little girl outside." Cara's blood turned to ice. "What?" "Blonde hair, wearing purple pajamas with unicorns. She's been standing by the front door for the past 3 minutes looking in. She's holding something that looks like a stuffed animal." Cara was moving before he finished speaking, rushing toward the diner's entrance. Through the glass, illuminated by the neon open sign, stood Lily, her daughter. Her 5-year-old daughter, who should have been safe at home, locked in her room, listening to stories. Instead, she was standing on a Philadelphia street at 3 a.m. in her pajamas, clutching Mr. Hopscotch, the threadbare rabbit she'd had since she was a baby. Cara burst through the door into the cold October night. "Lily! Baby, what are you doing here? How did you get here?" Lily looked up at her mother with enormous brown eyes filled with tears. "I walked, Mama. I remembered the way from when you brought me for pancakes on my birthday." 7 blocks. Lily had walked 7 blocks alone in the dark through a neighborhood where Cara barely felt safe walking during the day. "Oh my God. Oh, baby." Cara dropped to her knees on the cold pavement, pulling Lily into her arms. She smelled like the lavender shampoo they used and something else. Cigarette smoke. Marcus's cigarettes. "Does Marcus know you left? Did he see you go?" Lily shook her head against Cara's shoulder. "He fell asleep on the couch. The monsters got too loud, and I was scared, and I needed to find you. You can't do that. You can't walk by yourself at night. Something could have happened to you." "But nothing did." Lily pulled back, looking at her mother with that serious expression she sometimes got, the one that made her seem older than 5. "I was brave like you said. And I brought my money." She held up a small Ziploc bag, the one where she kept her allowance and birthday money from Grandma. Cara could see crumpled bills and coins through the plastic. "Why did you bring your money?" Lily looked past Cara toward the diner, toward the windows where the man, Mr. Volkov, was watching them. "I need to hire someone scary." Cara tried to steer Lily toward their car parked in the lot behind the diner, but her daughter had other ideas. She pulled away from Cara's hand and marched straight into Murphy's, making a beeline for booth 7. "Lily, no!" Cara hurried after her, but it was too late. Lily stopped in front of the man, looking up at him with complete seriousness. She set Mr. Hopscotch carefully on the table, then opened her Ziploc bag and began counting out money. "I have $3, she announced. $1 from Grandma, $1 from the Tooth Fairy, and $1 that Mama gave me for being good at the dentist. Will you accept $3 to scare my monsters?" The man, Volkov, went absolutely still. Not the stillness of someone simply not moving, but something deeper, more profound. like he'd stopped breathing. His pale eyes locked onto Lily with an intensity that would have been frightening if it wasn't tempered by something else, something that looked almost like pain. "Lily, I'm so sorry," Cara said, reaching for her daughter. "She doesn't understand. We're going to go now." "What kind of monsters?" Volkov asked quietly. Lily tilted her head, studying him with that uncanny perception children sometimes have. "The kind that yell and break things. The kind that make Mama cry when she thinks I can't hear. The kind that live in our house and won't leave." She pushed her $3 across the table. "I saved this for a long time. It's all I have. But you look like you could scare anything." Volkov stared at the money, 3 crumpled dollar bills that represented a fortune to a 5-year-old girl. His jaw clenched, a muscle ticking beneath his skin. When he looked up at Cara, she saw something in his expression that made her breath catch. Recognition. Understanding. The look of someone who knew exactly what kind of monsters Lily was describing, because he'd lived with them too. "Keep your money," he said to Lily, his voice rough. He gently pushed the bills back toward her. "Tell me where you live." "You can't," Cara started, but he held up one hand. "Tell me where you live," he repeated, "and I'll take care of the monsters. No charge." "Why?" Cara demanded, fear and hope warring in her chest. "Why would you do that?" Volkov's pale eyes met hers, and for just a moment, she saw past the dangerous exterior to something raw and wounded underneath. "Because when I was her age," he said quietly, "I would have given everything I had, everything, if someone had been brave enough to scare away my monsters, but nobody came. Nobody even noticed." He looked back at Lily, and something in his expression softened. "What's your name, sweetheart?" "Lily Cara Lennox. I'm 5.5. She picked up Mr. Hopscotch, hugging him to her chest. "This is Mr. Hopscotch. He tries to be brave, but he's small. That's why we need help from someone bigger." "I see." Volkov pulled out his phone, typed something quickly, then looked at Cara. "What time does your shift end?" 4. "But I don't understand what—" "At 4 a.m., you're going to walk to your car with Lily. You're going to drive home. When you get there, you're going to find that the situation has changed." He stood, pulling on his coat with fluid grace. "The monsters will be gone, Cara." The use of her first name, said in that quiet, certain voice, made her shiver. "I don't even know you. My name is Alexei Volkov." He pulled a card from his wallet and placed it on the table next to Lily's $3. "I own several businesses in this city. Some of them are legitimate. Most of them aren't. I'm what people call a vor, a thief-in-law. In your country, you'd say I'm in the Mafia." Cara's heart hammered against her ribs. She should take Lily and run. Should get as far away from this man as possible. But Lily was looking at him with trust, with hope, and Cara was so tired of being afraid. "Why would you help us?" "Because your daughter offered me everything she had to save you." Alexei looked at Lily, then back at Cara. "Because I remember being a child who needed saving, and because I have the power to do something about it." He moved toward the door, then paused. "The man you live with, Marcus Donovan. He has a record. Assault, drunk and disorderly, property destruction. He violated probation in New Jersey 3 years ago. There's still a warrant." He looked back at them. "At 4:15 a.m., that warrant is going to be remembered. The Philadelphia police are going to receive an anonymous tip. Marcus will be arrested, and he won't make bail because of the probation violation. He'll be gone before dawn." "You can do that?" Cara whispered. "You can make him go away?" "I can do that and more." Alexei's expression hardened. "But I need you to trust me. Can you do that, Cara? Can you trust me to scare away the monsters?" Cara looked at Lily, at her daughter's hopeful face, at the $3 still sitting on the table, a child's entire fortune, offered up to buy her mother's safety. "Yes," she said, her voice barely audible. "Yes, I trust you." Something flickered in Alexei's pale eyes. Surprise, maybe, or satisfaction. "Good. Go home at 4. The monsters will be gone. And tomorrow," he paused, "tomorrow we'll talk about making sure they never come back." He left without another word, disappearing into the pre-dawn darkness. Cara and Lily sat in booth 7, the $3 still on the table between them, and waited for 4 a.m. The drive home felt surreal, like moving through a dream where the rules of reality had been suspended. Lily dozed in the back seat, Mr. Hopscotch clutched to her chest, while Cara's hands gripped the steering wheel so tightly her knuckles had gone white. What had she done? She'd given her address to a mobster, a man who'd casually admitted to being part of organized crime. A man who'd promised to make Marcus disappear like it was nothing more complicated than taking out the trash. But as she pulled into the parking lot of their apartment building, Cara saw the flashing red and blue lights and felt something crack open in her chest. Relief so powerful it made her dizzy. 2 police cars were parked outside. Officers were leading Marcus out in handcuffs, his face red with rage and confusion. He was shouting something about his rights, about this being bullshit, about how someone was going to pay for this. Cara pulled into a spot far from the commotion, her heart racing. She watched as they put Marcus in the back of one of the cruisers, watched as the cars pulled away, watched as the man who'd controlled every aspect of her life for 8 months simply left. Is he gone? Lily's sleepy voice came from the back seat. Are the monsters gone? Yeah, baby. Cara's voice cracked. They're gone. They climbed the stairs to the second-floor apartment. Cara's hands shook as she unlocked the door, half expecting to find Marcus somehow still there, waiting in the dark. But the apartment was empty, silent in a way it hadn't been in months. No television blaring, no beer cans scattered across the coffee table, no heavy, threatening presence filling every corner with tension. Cara flipped on the lights and gasped. The apartment was clean. Not just clean, transformed. Marcus's things were gone. His clothes, his tools, his beer, his cigarettes, all of it vanished as if he'd never lived there at all. The stains on the carpet where he'd spilled drinks had been scrubbed away. The hole he'd punched in the hallway wall had been patched and painted. On the kitchen counter sat a manila envelope. With trembling fingers, Cara opened it. Inside was a new lease. For this apartment, in her name only, paid through the end of the year. There was also a letter on expensive stationery with a simple letterhead, AV. Cara, Marcus Donovan was arrested at 4:17 a.m. on an outstanding warrant from New Jersey. He will not make bail. He will not return to this apartment. He will not contact you or Lily again. The lease is now yours. I've taken the liberty of having the locks changed. New keys are in the envelope. I've also had the apartment cleaned and repaired. Tomorrow at 2 p.m., someone will come to install a security system. Cameras, motion sensors, the works. You'll have an app on your phone that alerts you to any unusual activity. You're safe now. Both of you. We'll talk soon about next steps. For now, rest. Let Lily rest. The monsters are gone. Alexei Cara read the letter 3 times, tears streaming down her face. She should have been frightened by this level of control, by how easily Alexei had dismantled her life and rebuilt it. But all she felt was overwhelming, crushing relief. She carried Lily to bed, tucking her in with Mr. Hopscotch. Lily's eyes fluttered open briefly. The scary man kept his promise, she murmured. I knew he would. He has sad eyes like mine, like he knows about monsters too. Sleep, baby. You're safe now. We're both safe now, Mama. Cara kissed her daughter's forehead and retreated to her own room, the room that had become a battlefield, where she'd learned to sleep lightly, always listening for Marcus's footsteps, always braced for the next fight. Tonight, she locked the door with one of the new keys. She sat on the edge of her bed and let herself cry. Really cry. Deep, wrenching sobs that came from a place she'd kept locked away for months. She cried for the fear, for the helplessness, for the nights spent planning escapes she could never afford. She cried for Lily, who'd had to be braver than any 5-year-old should ever have to be. And she cried because for the first time in 8 months, she wasn't afraid to fall asleep in her own home. Cara woke at noon, disoriented by the sunlight streaming through the windows. She never slept this late. She had a shift at the grocery store at 1. Her phone buzzed. A text from an unknown number. I called your employers. You have the week off. Paid. Rest. You've earned it. AV. How did he even get her phone number? How did he know where she worked? The level of access Alexei Volkov had to her life should have terrified her. Instead, she felt something else. Something she'd almost forgotten existed. Security. Another text came through. The security installation team will be there at 2. Let them in. And Cara, you don't owe me anything. Not gratitude, not money, not anything. This is a gift, freely given. Lily appeared in the doorway, rubbing her eyes. Is it real, Mama? Is Marcus really gone? Yeah, baby. It's real. Can we have pancakes? The kind you make on Saturdays when you're not too tired? Cara smiled through fresh tears. We can have pancakes every day if you want. As promised, at exactly 2 p.m., there was a knock on the door. Cara checked the new peephole, another addition she hadn't noticed last night, and saw 2 men in professional uniforms carrying equipment cases. "Ms. Lennox," the older one said when she opened the door. "We're from Sentinel Security. Mr. Volkov sent us to install your system." They worked for 3 hours, mounting cameras at strategic points, installing motion sensors on the windows, setting up a central control panel. The older man, whose name tag read Victor, explained everything with patient thoroughness. "Cameras here cover the hallway and parking lot. Motion sensors here alert you if anyone tries the windows. The door sensor triggers if someone tries to force entry. Everything feeds to this app on your phone." He showed her the interface. "You get real-time alerts, can check the cameras anytime, and there's a direct panic button that alerts our monitoring center." "How much does the monitoring service cost?" Victor smiled slightly. "Mr. Volkov has covered it. For the next 5 years." 5 years? Alexei Volkov was planning 5 years ahead for their safety. After the installation team left, Cara explored the app. The cameras showed her the empty hallway, the parking lot where her beat-up Honda sat next to nicer cars. Everything was quiet, normal, safe. That evening, as she was making dinner, actual dinner, not the quick, anxious meals she'd thrown together while listening for Marcus's mood, there was another knock at the door. Cara checked the camera feed on her phone before approaching. A woman stood in the hallway, professionally dressed, holding what looked like a bakery box. "Ms. Lennox?" the woman called. "My name is Irina Volkov, Alexei's sister. May I come in?" Cara opened the door cautiously. Irina was in her late 30s, elegant in a way that reminded Cara of expensive perfume ads. She had the same pale eyes as her brother, but where his gaze was intense and slightly frightening, hers was warm. "I brought piroshki," Irina said, offering the box. "Beef and cabbage. Alexei said you might appreciate a home-cooked meal that you didn't have to cook yourself." "That's very kind. Thank you." Irina stepped inside, looking around the apartment with an assessing gaze. "Good. He had it cleaned properly, and the security installation looks professional." She turned to Cara with a gentle smile. "May I speak frankly?" "Please." "My brother is many things. Dangerous, complicated, someone most people are wise to fear. But he has a code, and that code is absolute. Women and children are sacred. Anyone who harms them answers to him personally." She set the bakery box on the kitchen counter. "What happened to you and your daughter? Marcus's abuse, your fear. It awakened something in Alexei that I haven't seen in years." "I don't understand." "My brother was 5 when our father started beating him. 7 when it got so bad he ended up in the hospital. 9 when our father finally went too far and killed our mother in a drunken rage." Irina's voice was matter-of-fact, but Cara saw the pain in her eyes. "Alexei survived by becoming harder than the thing that scared him, by becoming someone who could protect others the way no one protected us." Cara's throat tightened. "I'm sorry. I didn't know. He doesn't talk about it. But when your daughter offered him $3 to scare away her monsters, when she looked at him with those trusting eyes..." Irina shook her head. She saw past the dangerous exterior to the scared little boy underneath, and she offered him the chance to be the hero he needed when he was her age. "If you're hooked on this story, make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss an upload. Your support means everything and helps me bring you more emotional stories like this one." "So this is about redemption?" "This is about my brother finally having the power to do what no one did for him, to save a child from growing up afraid." Irina touched Cara's arm gently. "Let him help you. Let him be part of your life. Not because you owe him, you don't, but because I think you're all good for each other. You, Lily, and my complicated, dangerous brother who has a heart he pretends doesn't exist." After Irina left, Cara sat on the couch with Lily curled up beside her, eating the piroshki that tasted like comfort and safety. The apartment was quiet, but it was the good kind of quiet, the kind that meant peace instead of the dangerous calm before another storm. Her phone buzzed. Another text from Alexei. "How are you both doing?" Cara stared at the message for a long moment before typing a response. "Better. Thank you for everything. For the apartment, the security, for making Marcus go away. I don't know how to repay you." His response came quickly. "You don't. You take care of Lily. You rest. You rebuild. That's all I ask. Why are you doing this?" "Really?" The pause before his next message was longer. "Because Lily reminded me what bravery looks like. Because you deserve to be saved. Because I can, and therefore I should." Is that enough of a reason? It's more than enough. It's everything. 3 days later, Cara returned to work at Murphy's Diner for her regular shift. She'd needed the time off, needed to let herself believe that Marcus wasn't coming back, that the apartment was really hers, that this wasn't all some elaborate dream she'd wake up from. Eddie greeted her with his usual grunt when she arrived at 10 p.m. for the late shift. "Good to see you back, girl. You look better. Less jumpy." "I feel better. That Volkov man, he's dangerous. But he's fair. If he's taken an interest in helping you, consider yourself lucky. Not many people get that kind of protection." Cara was wiping down tables around midnight when the door opened and Alexei walked in. He was dressed less formally tonight. Dark jeans, a black Henley that emphasized his broad shoulders, a leather jacket. But he carried the same aura of controlled danger, the same sense that he was always watching, always assessing. He slid into booth 7, the same seat where this had all started. Cara approached with the coffee pot, her heart beating faster. "Welcome back. Coffee. Black." He looked up at her, and something in his expression was different, less guarded. "And a few minutes of your time when you can spare it." She poured his coffee and slid into the seat across from him, just like she had 4 nights ago. But everything had changed since then. "How's Lily?" he asked. "She's good. Better than good, actually. She's sleeping through the night for the first time in months. She drew you a picture?" Cara pulled out her phone, showing him a photo of Lily's drawing, a stick figure man with what might have been a cape, standing next to 2 smaller figures, with the sun shining overhead. "She said it's you protecting us from the monsters." Something flickered across Alexei's face. "I'd like to see the original if that's all right. She'd love that. She asks about you constantly, wants to know when the nice scary man is coming back." "The nice scary man," Alexei repeated, and the corner of his mouth twitched in what might have been a smile. "I've been called many things. That's a first." "She has good instincts. She knew you were safe even when I was terrified." "You should have been terrified. I'm not a safe man, Cara." "No," she agreed, "but you're safe for us. There's a difference." They sat in silence for a moment, the diner quiet around them except for the hum of the refrigerators and the distant clatter from the kitchen. "Marcus made bail," Alexei said finally. Cara's blood turned to ice. "What?" "His cousin posted it yesterday. But don't worry, he won't be coming anywhere near you." Alexei's voice was calm, certain. "I had a conversation with him this afternoon. A very clear conversation about what happens if he so much as drives past this diner, let alone your apartment building." "What did you say to him?" "I explained that I've taken a personal interest in you and Lily, that you're under my protection, that if he violates the restraining order I helped you file, or if he contacts you in any way, the consequences will be severe and permanent." Alexei's pale eyes met hers. "I explained it in terms he understood. Did you hurt him?" "I didn't need to. Men like Marcus are cowards at heart. They prey on people who can't fight back. When confronted with real power, real consequences, they fold." He paused. "I also had my attorney file paperwork documenting every instance of abuse you reported to friends, to your doctor, to anyone. It's all on record now. If he comes near you, he goes to prison. He knows this." Cara's hands trembled around her coffee cup. "I should have done that myself. Should have been stronger." "Stop." The word was gentle but firm. "You survived. You kept Lily safe. You worked 3 jobs to build an escape fund. You were strong enough. You just didn't have the resources. That's not weakness, Cara. That's a system that failed you. And you're what? Fixing the system? I'm filling in the gaps the system leaves." He leaned back. "I want to offer you something. Not as payment, not as obligation. As an opportunity." "What kind of opportunity?" "I own a restaurant in Center City. Sophisticated place, upscale clientele. I need a manager. Someone smart, detail-oriented, good with people. Someone I can trust." He held her gaze. "The salary is $65,000 a year, plus benefits. Health insurance, dental, vision, retirement matching, childcare stipend." Cara stared at him. $65,000. "You'd be managing staff, handling reservations, overseeing operations. It's real work, and you'd earn every penny. But it's 1 job instead of 3. Days and early evenings instead of overnight shifts. Weekends off to spend with Lily. I don't have restaurant management experience. You have customer service experience, you're reliable, and you understand hard work. The rest I can teach you. My head chef Boris will train you. He's gruff but fair." "Why would you do this? You've already done so much." "Because I can. Because you deserve better than 3 minimum wage jobs that barely cover rent. Because Lily deserves a mother who isn't exhausted all the time." He paused. "And because I want you close." The admission hung in the air between them, weighted with meaning neither of them was quite ready to examine. "Close?" Cara whispered. "I told Marcus you're under my protection. That's not just words, Cara. In my world, that means something specific. It means I'm responsible for your safety. It means anyone who threatens you threatens me." His jaw tightened. "I take that responsibility seriously. Working for me, at my restaurant, makes it easier to ensure you're safe. So this is about protection. It's about a lot of things." His pale eyes searched hers. "But yes, protection is part of it. Is that all right with you?" Cara thought about her 3 jobs, about the exhaustion that had become her constant companion, about missing Lily's school events and falling asleep during bedtime stories. She thought about $65,000 a year and health insurance and the possibility of a life that wasn't just survival. "When would I start?" "Monday, if you're ready. I'll handle notice with your current employers. You can't just—" "I can, and I will. This is what I do, Cara. I solve problems. I make things happen." He pulled out a business card and slid it across the table. "That's the restaurant address. Monday at 10 a.m. Boris will be expecting you." Cara took the card, her fingers brushing his. The contact sent electricity up her arm, and from the way his eyes darkened, he felt it too. "Thank you," she said softly. "For everything. For saving us. Thank your daughter. She's the one who was brave enough to ask." He stood, pulling out his wallet and leaving 3 $20 bills on the table. "For the coffee. And Cara, bring Lily by the restaurant sometime. I'd like to see her drawing in person." After he left, Cara sat in booth 7, holding his business card, and let herself imagine a future that extended beyond next week's rent payment. A future where she had time to be Lily's mother instead of just her exhausted caretaker. A future where she didn't have to be afraid. A future that somehow included Alexei Volkov, the dangerous man who'd kept his promise to a 5-year-old girl. Monday morning, Cara stood outside Volkov's, the restaurant Alexei owned in Center City. It was elegant without being pretentious. A converted brownstone with floor-to-ceiling windows, crisp white tablecloths visible inside, fresh flowers on every table. She'd left Lily with Mrs. Chen, their elderly neighbor who'd been delighted to watch her for a few hours. Lily had been so excited she'd insisted on packing Mr. Hopscotch with special instructions for Cara to give to Alexei. A man in his 60s opened the door before Cara could knock. He was built like a bear, with a full beard and kind eyes. "You must be Cara. I'm Boris." His accent was thick, Russian. "Come. Mr. Volkov said you were smart, hardworking. We see if he's right." The next 4 hours were a whirlwind. Boris walked her through every aspect of the restaurant's operations: reservation system, staff schedules, vendor relationships, kitchen workflow. He was demanding but patient, correcting her mistakes without making her feel stupid. "You learn fast," he said approvingly around 2 p.m. "This is good. Mr. Volkov, he does not bring people here often. When he does, they are family. You understand? Family. He protects you, yes? You and your daughter. This means you are his to protect. In our world, this is family." Cara was processing that when she heard a familiar voice from the restaurant's entrance. "Uncle Boris! We brought cookies!" Cara turned to see Lily bursting through the door, Mrs. Chen apologizing behind her, but Cara's attention was caught by the man holding Lily's hand. Alexei. He was dressed more casually than she'd seen him, dark jeans, a black sweater, his hair slightly mussed. And he was smiling at Lily with such genuine warmth that Cara's heart stuttered. "We went to the bakery," Lily announced, running to Cara. "Alexei said we should bring treats for your first day at your new job." "You went to the bakery?" Cara looked at Mrs. Chen, who was beaming. "Mr. Volkov stopped by to see how Lily was doing," Mrs. Chen explained. "She insisted he needed to try Mrs. Wang's cookies, and he very kindly agreed to take us." Lily pulled away from Cara and ran to Alexei, holding up a piece of paper. "I made you something." It was the drawing, the stick figure man protecting the 2 smaller figures, but she'd added details since Cara had seen it. Stars around them, hearts, what might have been a shield in the man's hand. Alexei crouched down to Lily's level, taking the drawing with careful reverence. "This is beautiful, Lily." "That's you," she pointed to the tall figure. "And that's me and Mama. And those are the monsters running away because they're scared of you." "I will treasure this," Alexei said seriously. "Thank you." "You're welcome. Can I see your restaurant?" Alexei looked at Cara, silently asking permission. She nodded, and he stood, offering his hand to Lily. "Come, I'll show you everything." Cara watched as Alexei gave Lily a tour of the restaurant, pointing out details, letting her peek into the kitchen where Boris was preparing for dinner service, showing her the fresh flowers. He moved differently around Lily, less controlled, more open, the dangerous edges softened by genuine affection. "He is good with children," Boris observed, coming to stand beside Cara. "This surprises people, but it should not. He understands fear. He understands what it means to need protection. Children see this, yes? They trust him. He told me about his father, about his mother. Then he trusts you too, Mr. Volkov. He does not share this with many people." Boris studied her with knowing eyes. "You are afraid of him still?" "A little," Cara admitted. "Not of him hurting me or Lily, but of what he represents, the life he leads. Yes, this is wise, but also know, he will never bring that life to your door. He will keep you separate, safe. This is his way." After the tour, Lily hugged Alexei goodbye with the unself-conscious affection of a child who decided someone was trustworthy. "Thank you for scaring away the monsters," she said. "Will you come have dinner with us sometime? Mama makes really good spaghetti." Alexei looked at Cara over Lily's head, his expression questioning. "You're welcome any time," Cara heard herself say. "Tomorrow night, 6 o'clock. I'll be there." The next evening, Cara cleaned the apartment with nervous energy. It was stupid to be anxious. Alexei had already seen the place, had already paid for it, had already made it safe. But this felt different. This felt like inviting him into their lives, not just accepting his help. Lily had insisted on setting the table with their mismatched plates and the napkins folded into triangles the way Grandma had taught her. She'd put on her favorite purple dress and kept running to the window to watch for Alexei's arrival. When he knocked at exactly 6 p.m., Lily raced to the door. "He's here! Mama, he's here!" Cara checked the security camera out of habit, then opened the door. Alexei stood in the hallway holding a bouquet of sunflowers and a stuffed animal, a rabbit that looked remarkably like Mr. Hopscotch, but new, with both eyes intact. "For the lady of the house," he said, handing the flowers to Cara. Then he crouched down to Lily's level. "And I thought Mr. Hopscotch might like a friend." Lily's eyes went wide. "He looks just like Mr. Hopscotch. I'll call him Mr. Hops." She grabbed the rabbit and immediately ran to her room to introduce Mr. Hops to her other stuffed animals, leaving Cara and Alexei standing in the doorway. "Sunflowers," Cara said softly, looking at the bouquet. "How did you know?" "I pay attention." He stepped inside, and Cara was acutely aware of how his presence filled the small space. Not oppressively, but solidly, making the apartment feel both smaller and somehow more complete. Dinner was simple. Spaghetti with meat sauce, garlic bread, a salad. Nothing fancy. But Alexei ate like it was a gourmet meal, complimenting the food, listening attentively, as Lily chattered about her kindergarten class, about her friend Emma who'd lost 2 teeth, about the butterfly they'd seen in the playground. After dinner, Lily convinced Alexei to play with her stuffed animals. Cora watched from the kitchen as this dangerous man, this vor, this mafia figure, sat cross-legged on their living room floor, making Mr. Hopscotch and Mr. Hops have elaborate conversations in different voices. "Mr. Hops says he's glad he found a home with brave people," Alexei said in a slightly higher voice. "Mr. Hopscotch says he's glad he has help now," Lily replied, making her rabbit hop across the carpet. He was tired of fighting monsters alone. Something in Alexei's expression shifted, became more vulnerable. "Being alone is hard," he said in his normal voice. "Having help is better." "Do you have help?" Lily asked with a child's directness. "I do. I have my sister Irina. I have Boris. I have people who care about me. And now you have us too," Lily announced. "We can help each other." After Lily went to bed, Cara and Alexei sat on the couch with the comfortable silence of people who'd somehow moved past the need to fill every moment with words. "She's amazing," Alexei said finally. "Brave, kind, smart. You've done an incredible job raising her. I just tried to keep her safe and loved. That's all any parent can do. It's more than I had." He was quiet for a moment. "My father didn't just hit me. He tried to break me, make me small, afraid, compliant. For a long time, he succeeded. What changed? He killed my mother in front of me. I was 9, and something in me just switched off. The fear, the compliance, all of it. I realized I had 2 choices, die or become something he couldn't break." His jaw tightened. "I chose to become something harder than him. Colder. More dangerous. I'm sorry." Cara said softly. No child should have to make that choice. No. But when Lily offered me $3 to scare away her monsters, I saw myself in her. That same desperate bravery. That same willingness to give everything for a chance at safety. He looked at her. I couldn't save myself at 5. But I can save her. I can make sure she doesn't have to become hard to survive. Cara's hand found his, their fingers interlacing. You already did save her. You saved both of us. You saved yourselves. I just cleared the obstacles. They sat like that for a long time, hands linked, watching the city lights through the window. And for the first time since Marcus had moved in 8 months ago, Cara felt something she'd thought was lost forever. Hope. Real, tangible hope for a future that extended beyond survival. 2 months passed like a dream Cara kept expecting to wake up from. But every morning, she opened her eyes in an apartment that was truly hers, got Lily ready for school without the weight of fear pressing on her chest, and went to work at a job that paid her enough to not just survive, but live. Volkov's restaurant had become her second home. Boris treated her like a beloved niece, teaching her not just about management, but about food, about the artistry of creating something beautiful for people to experience. The staff, a mix of Russian immigrants and local hires, had accepted her with surprising warmth once they realized she was under Alexei's protection. That phrase kept coming up. Under his protection. In their world, it meant something specific, something that carried weight and consequences. It meant she and Lily were untouchable. Alexei came to dinner twice a week, always bringing something. Flowers for Cara, small gifts for Lily. He never stayed late, never pushed for more than Cara was ready to give. But the connection between them grew stronger with each visit, each conversation, each moment of comfortable silence. Lily had adopted him completely. She called him Alexei, with the ease of a child who'd decided someone belonged in her life. She showed him her homework, her drawings, her elaborate stories about Mr. Hopscotch and Mr. Hops. And Alexei listened with genuine interest, asked questions, remembered details from previous conversations. It was terrifyingly easy to imagine him as a permanent part of their lives. Mrs. Chen, their neighbor, watched these developments with knowing eyes. That man looks at you like you're the answer to a question he's been asking his whole life, she'd said one afternoon. And you look at him the same way, even if you don't realize it yet. Cara had dismissed it at the time. But as December approached and Philadelphia turned cold and gray, she found herself thinking about Alexei constantly. The way his pale eyes softened when he looked at Lily. The way his hand lingered when he helped Cara with her coat. The way he'd become woven into the fabric of their daily lives so seamlessly, it was hard to remember what things had been like before him. It was the week before Christmas when everything changed. Cara was closing the restaurant on a Wednesday night. Boris had left early for a doctor's appointment, and most of the staff had already gone home. She was doing the final cash out when her phone buzzed with an alert from the security app. Motion detected outside apartment door. Her heart stuttered. She opened the camera feed and felt her blood turn to ice. Marcus stood in the hallway outside her apartment, swaying slightly. Even through the camera, she could tell he was drunk. He pounded on the door with one fist. "Cara, I know you're in there. Open this goddamn door!" But she wasn't there. Lily was there with Mrs. Chen, who was watching her for the evening. With shaking hands, Cara called Mrs. Chen. "Don't open the door," she said as soon as the older woman answered. "Marcus is outside. I'm calling the police. Keep Lily in your apartment. Lock all the locks." "Already done," Mrs. Chen said calmly. "And I already called Mr. Volkov. He's on his way. You have his number? He gave it to me 2 months ago. Said to call if there was ever any trouble." Mrs. Chen's voice was steady, unafraid. "Don't worry, dear. We're safe. Mr. Volkov will handle this." Cara was already grabbing her coat, already moving toward the door. The restaurant was 20 minutes from her apartment. 20 minutes of Marcus pounding on that door, 20 minutes of Lily being scared. Her phone rang. "Alexei, stay at the restaurant." His voice was hard, controlled fury underneath. "I'm 3 minutes away from your building. Do not come here, Cara. Let me handle this." He's drunk. He's violating the restraining order. Lily is scared. Lily is safe with Mrs. Chen, and Marcus will be gone before you could possibly get here. A pause. "Trust me. Please." Cara's hands trembled as she gripped the phone. Every instinct screamed at her to go to her daughter, but Alexei's voice carried absolute certainty. "Okay," she whispered. "Okay, but call me the second it's handled." "I will. Stay at the restaurant. I'll send someone to be with you." He hung up. Cara pulled up the security camera feed on her phone, watching as Marcus continued to pound on the door, his voice getting louder, more aggressive. "You think you can just throw me out? You think you're better than me? I made you, Cara. You were nothing before me." Then suddenly, Marcus's body went rigid. He turned slowly away from the door, and Cara saw why. Alexei had arrived. Even through the camera's limited view, Cara could see the change in Marcus's demeanor. The false bravado crumbled instantly in the face of real danger. Alexei didn't rush, didn't raise his voice. He simply stood there, with two men flanking him, both built like walls, both radiating controlled violence. Cara couldn't hear what Alexei said, but she saw Marcus's face go pale, saw him back up against the hallway wall, saw him shrink into himself the way Cara had shrunk for 8 months. The confrontation lasted less than 2 minutes. Then Alexei's men escorted Marcus down the stairs, and Alexei remained in the hallway. He looked directly at the camera, as if he knew Cara was watching, and nodded once. Her phone rang again. "He's gone," Alexei said. "He won't be back." "What did you do?" "I reminded him of the consequences. I made it very clear that violating the restraining order again would result in outcomes far worse than arrest." His voice was cold, the dangerous edge fully present. "I also had a friend in the police department document this violation. There's now video evidence, witness statements, everything needed to extend the order and increase the penalties." Did you hurt him?" "I didn't need to. Fear is often more effective than violence." A pause. "Cara, I need to tell you something. Marcus came to your apartment tonight because someone told him where you live." Cara's stomach dropped. "Who?" "His cousin. The one who posted bail. Apparently, Marcus has been obsessing, drinking, planning. He was convinced that if he could just talk to you, make you understand, you'd take him back." Alexei's voice hardened. "His cousin is the one who's been feeding him information. Your address, where you work, Lily's school schedule. Oh my God. I've handled the cousin. He won't be sharing any more information. But Cara, this means Marcus has been watching you both. For weeks, possibly months, waiting for an opportunity." The restaurant door opened, and Irina rushed in, her face concerned. "Cara? Alexei called. Are you all right?" Cara nodded, unable to speak around the fear clogging her throat. "I'm sending Irina to stay with you," Alexei said, "and I want you to come to my place tonight. You and Lily both. I'm not comfortable with you going back to that apartment until we know for certain Marcus has given up. But the security system is good, but not foolproof. Please, Cara, for Lily's safety, for my peace of mind." "Okay," Cara agreed, because what else could she do? Marcus had been watching them, planning. And if Mrs. Chen hadn't called Alexei, if he hadn't arrived when he did... She couldn't finish that thought. Alexei's penthouse was in a glass tower overlooking the city, all clean lines and expensive furniture and floor-to-ceiling windows that offered a view of Philadelphia spread out like a glittering promise. It should have felt cold, impersonal. Instead, it felt safe. Lily was already asleep in one of the guest rooms, exhausted from the fear and excitement. Mrs. Chen had brought her over herself, clucking about how Mr. Volkov had excellent security and this was the right choice. Cara stood at the windows, looking out at the city, trying to process everything. Behind her, she heard Alexei enter the room. He'd changed into more casual clothes, dark jeans, a soft gray sweater that made his eyes look even paler. "Lily settled?" she asked, without turning around. "Yes." Mrs. Chen stayed with her until she fell asleep. He moved to stand beside her, not touching, but close enough that she could feel his warmth. "I've increased security at your apartment building. There are now cameras covering every entrance, and I have 2 men rotating shifts to watch the parking lot. Marcus won't get within 100 feet without us knowing. You can't keep doing this. Paying for security, rearranging your life, protecting us constantly. It's too much. It's not enough." His voice was rough. "Cara, when I got Mrs. Chen's call, when I saw Marcus on that security feed pounding on your door..." He stopped, jaw clenched. "I've done terrible things in my life. Hurt people, made decisions that cost lives. But the thought of him getting to you or Lily, the thought of being too late... You weren't too late. You got there in time. This time. But what about next time? What about the time I'm not available, not fast enough?" He turned to face her fully. "I want you to move in here. You and Lily. Permanently." Cara's breath caught. "What?" "This building has security Marcus could never breach. Armed guards, biometric locks, cameras everywhere. You'd have your own space. There are 3 bedrooms on this floor, or I can arrange for you to have an entire floor to yourselves if you prefer, but you be safe. Always safe. Alexei, we can't just move in with you. We barely know each other. You know me better than most people do. You know what I am, what I do. You know I'd die before letting anything happen to Lily. He stepped closer. And I think you know that what's between us is more than just gratitude or protection. Cara's heart hammered against her ribs. What is between us? I don't know what to call it. I've never felt anything like it before. His hand came up to cup her face, thumb brushing across her cheekbone. I look at you and see strength. I look at Lily and see the child I was, but saved, protected, given a chance to be happy. You've both become essential to me in a way that terrifies me. I scare you? Cara asked, surprised. More than any enemy I've ever faced. His pale eyes searched hers. Because losing you would destroy me in a way no bullet or blade ever could. Cara leaned into his touch, her own hand coming up to cover his. I'm scared too. Of this, of you, of what it means to let you into our lives completely. But I'm more scared of going back to the way things were before, of being alone, of Lily being afraid, of living in constant fear. Then don't. Don't go back. Stay here. Let me protect you. He stopped, seeming to struggle with the words. Let me be part of your family, really part of it, not just someone who visits twice a week. What are you asking for, Alexei? Everything. The word was barely a whisper. I'm asking for everything. You, Lily, a life together. I know it's fast. I know it's complicated. I know my world is dangerous. But I swear to you, on everything I hold sacred, that I will keep you both safe. That I will be the man Lily sees when she looks at me, the one who scares away monsters. That I will spend every day earning the trust you've given me. Cara looked at this dangerous man who'd somehow become essential to her own happiness, who'd kept every promise he'd made to a 5-year-old girl, who'd given them back their lives and then offered to share his own. I need to know something first, she said. When you look at me, when you imagine this future, am I just another responsibility? Another person to protect? No. He said it with absolute certainty. You're the first person I've ever wanted to wake up next to. The first person whose happiness matters more to me than my own. The first person who makes me want to be better than what I am. And Lily? Lily is the daughter I never knew I wanted. The chance to be the father I never had. The reminder that not all children grow up afraid. His voice roughened. I love her, Cara. I know I have no right to. I know I haven't earned it, but I do. And I hope, I'm falling in love with you too. Cara's eyes filled with tears. You don't do anything halfway, do you? I never learned how. A slight smile touched his lips. Is it too much? It's terrifying. It's overwhelming. It's everything I didn't know I needed. She rose on her toes, bringing her face close to his. And yes, we'll stay. Yes, we'll let you be part of our family. Yes to all of it. Alexei kissed her then, and it was nothing like she'd imagined. It wasn't gentle or tentative. It was fierce, desperate, like he was trying to pour months of restrained feeling into a single moment. Cara kissed him back with equal intensity, her hands fisting in his sweater, pulling him closer. When they finally broke apart, both breathing hard, Alexei rested his forehead against hers. I don't know how to be a family man, he admitted. I don't know how to be normal. Good thing we're not looking for normal. Cara smiled through her tears. We're looking for safe, for happy, for loved. I think you can manage that. I'll spend the rest of my life trying. They told Lily the next morning over pancakes that Alexei made himself. Apparently Russian Mafia bosses learned to cook somewhere along the way. She processed the news that they'd be moving in with Alexei with the easy acceptance of a 5-year-old who'd already decided he was family. Does this mean you'll be here every morning? She asked Alexei, syrup on her chin. Every morning? He confirmed. And every night? Every night. And you'll keep the monsters away? Always. Lily nodded, satisfied. Okay, but Mr. Hopscotch and Mr. Hops get their own room. They're very particular about their accommodations. Alexei's lips twitched. I'll make sure they have the best room in the penthouse. With windows? They like to look at the stars. With windows. Then it's a deal. Lily held out her syrup-sticky hand for a handshake, and Alexei took it seriously, shaking with grave formality. The next 2 weeks were a whirlwind of logistics. Alexei had their belongings moved from the apartment, the things they wanted to keep, which honestly wasn't much. He'd arranged for the apartment to be kept as a backup just in case, but Cara suspected they'd never need it. The penthouse was transformed to accommodate them. The guest room became Lily's, decorated with her input, purple walls, shelves for her stuffed animals, a reading nook by the window. Another room became Cara's office and private space. Alexei's home gym was reorganized to be more family-friendly. "You're sure about this?" Cara asked one evening as they unpacked boxes. Lily was in her new room, arranging her stuffed animals with the seriousness of a general positioning troops. "Giving up your bachelor penthouse for a 5-year-old and her mother?" "I was never a bachelor by choice," Alexei said, setting down a box of books. "I was alone because I didn't know how to be anything else. You and Lily are teaching me a different way to live. We come with complications. Lily will have nightmares. Sometimes she'll be loud and messy. I'll probably worry too much and second-guess everything." "Good. I like complicated. Simple was boring." He pulled her close, his arms wrapping around her waist. "Besides, my life is already complicated. Adding you and Lily just makes it the good kind of complicated." Christmas morning, Cara woke in Alexei's bed. They'd been sharing it for a week now, though they'd taken things slowly, both adjusting to this new reality. She could hear Lily's excited voice from the living room, chattering to someone about the presents under the tree. Alexei stirred beside her, his arm tightening around her waist. "Merry Christmas," he murmured against her neck. "Merry Christmas. I think your daughter is awake and interrogating your security guard about whether he's seen Santa." "My daughter," he repeated, voice full of wonder. "That will never get old." They emerged to find Lily indeed talking to Victor, the head of Alexei's security team, about the physics of Santa's sleigh. Victor was handling the interrogation with admirable patience. "Mr. Victor says reindeer are scientifically possible if you account for Christmas magic," Lily announced when she saw them. "Can we open presents now?" The living room was transformed. A massive tree in the corner, presents piled underneath, lights strung everywhere. Alexei had gone all out, clearly trying to make up for every Christmas Lily had spent in fear, every holiday Cara had worked through. Lily tore through her presents with the enthusiasm of a child who'd been told she could have everything she wanted. Books, art supplies, a keyboard, because Mr. Boris says music is important, and a new stuffed animal, a bunny that matched Mr. Hopscotch and Mr. Hops, completing what Lily called the family. But her favorite gift was the last one Alexei gave her. A small box with a silver chain inside, attached to a pendant. A delicate flower, protection symbols etched into the metal. "This is like the one my sister wears," Alexei explained, helping Lily put it on. "In my family, we give these to people we want to protect. It means you're mine to watch over, always." Lily touched the pendant reverently. "I'll never take it off." "You don't have to. It's yours." Cara's gift from Alexei came last. A small velvet box that made her breath catch even before she opened it. Inside was a ring. Not an engagement ring. She wasn't ready for that yet, and somehow Alexei knew it. Instead, it was a simple silver band with a single diamond, elegant and understated. "It's a promise," Alexei said quietly, taking the ring from the box. "A promise that I'll be here, that I'll protect you both, that I'm yours if you'll have me." "Of course I'll have you." Cara's voice was thick with tears as he slid the ring onto her right hand. "We both will." They spent the day together, the three of them plus Irina and Boris, who'd been invited for Christmas dinner. It was the first real family holiday Cara had, experienced since her own parents died, the first time Lily had celebrated without fear shadowing every moment. After dinner, after Lily had been tucked into bed with Mr. Hopscotch, Mr. Hops, and the new bunny she'd named Mrs. Bounce, Cara and Alexei stood at the windows overlooking the city. "I keep thinking I'm going to wake up," Cara admitted. "That this is all too good to be real. It's real." Alexei's arm was warm around her shoulders. "You're here. Lily's here. We're a family. A very unconventional family. The best kind." He turned her to face him. "Cara, I want you to know. What I said about falling in love with you, I'm past falling. I'm there, completely, irrevocably in love with you." Cara's heart swelled. She'd known, of course, had felt it in every gesture, every word, every careful way he'd built this life for them. But hearing him say it made it real. "I love you too," she whispered. "I think I have since that first night, when you promised Lily you'd scare away her monsters. When you saw us, really saw us, and decided we were worth saving. You saved yourselves. Lily was brave enough to ask for help. You were brave enough to accept it. I just cleared the path. You gave us our lives back. You gave us a future." She cupped his face, thumb tracing the scar on his jaw. "You gave us everything." "You gave me everything," he corrected. "A family, a reason to be more than what I was, a chance to be the man I always wanted to be but never knew how." They kissed with the city lights glittering below them, the promise of a future spreading out as vast and bright as the Philadelphia skyline. 3 years later, Cara stood in the same spot by the windows, but everything had changed. The penthouse was lived in now, comfortable, filled with Lily's artwork and family photos and the everyday chaos of life. Lily was 8 now, confident and bright and so secure in their love that she'd completely forgotten what it felt like to be afraid. She still wore the silver pendant Alexei had given her that first Christmas, and she still slept with Mr. Hopscotch, though the rabbit was even more threadbare now. Alexei had formally adopted her 6 months ago. The paperwork had been complicated. His reputation made judges nervous, but his attorney had eventually pushed it through. The day Lily's last name legally became Volkov, she'd cried happy tears and made Alexei promise to never leave them. "Never," he'd sworn. "You're stuck with me forever." The restaurant had expanded. They now owned 3 locations, all managed by Cara, all successful. She discovered she had a talent for business, for creating spaces where people felt welcomed and fed and happy. Marcus hadn't been seen or heard from in 3 years. According to Alexei's sources, he'd left Philadelphia entirely, moved to the West Coast, found a new victim to terrorize. Cara felt sorry for whoever that was, but she couldn't save everyone. She could only protect her own family. And they were a family now, officially. Alexei had proposed properly 6 months ago, and they'd gotten married in a small ceremony with Lily as the flower girl, Boris crying openly, and Irina beaming with joy. Cara heard the penthouse door open, heard Lily's excited voice, "Mom, Dad, we got an A on our science project." Mom and Dad. The words still made Cara's heart swell every time. Alexei appeared in the doorway, Lily on his shoulders, both of them grinning. He'd changed over the past 3 years, softer around the edges, quicker to smile, more present. Being loved had healed something in him, just as being safe had healed something in Cara and Lily. "Tell your mom about the volcano," Alexei encouraged. Lily launched into an enthusiastic explanation of their baking soda and vinegar experiment, her hands gesturing wildly. Alexei held her steady, patient and attentive, the dangerous Vor transformed into a devoted father. Later, after dinner, after Lily's homework was done and she was tucked into bed, Cara and Alexei returned to their spot by the windows. "Do you ever regret it?" Cara asked. "Taking on a ready-made family? Changing your entire life for us?" "Every day," Alexei said seriously. When Cara pulled back in surprise, he smiled. "I regret that I didn't find you sooner. That Lily had to be afraid for even a day. That you had to suffer before I could help. Those are my only regrets. She barely remembers it now. The fear, Marcus, the old apartment. She thinks she's always lived like this. Good. That means we did it right." He pulled Cara close. "She got to be a child. She got to grow up safe and loved and brave. That's all I ever wanted for her. You gave her that. You gave us both that." "We gave it to each other," Alexei corrected. "I'm not the hero of this story, Cara. Lily is. She's the one who was brave enough to offer $3 to a stranger. She's the one who saw past the monster to the man underneath. She saved all of us that night." Cara thought about that night in the diner, about Lily standing in her unicorn pajamas offering her life savings for help, about Alexei's expression when he'd realized what she was asking, about how one moment of desperate bravery had transformed all their lives. "She did, didn't she? She reminded me that monsters can be defeated, that sometimes the scary man is exactly who you need, that $3 and immense courage can change the world." Alexei's arms tightened around Cara. "She gave me a family. She gave me you. She gave me a reason to be better than what I was." From Lily's room, they heard her call out, "Dad, can you check for monsters?" Alexei smiled and kissed Cara's forehead. "Duty calls." Cara watched as he went to Lily's room, heard his deep voice reassuring their daughter that no monsters would ever get past him, heard Lily's giggle, her sleepy, "I love you, Dad," his equally sleepy, "I love you too, Lily Pad." This was their life now, safe, happy, filled with love and laughter and the everyday miracles of a family choosing each other every single day. Lily had asked for someone to scare away her monsters. What she'd gotten was so much more: a father who adored her, a mother who could finally breathe, a family built not on fairy tale perfection, but on real courage, real love, and real commitment to protecting each other from the darkness. Sometimes, Cara reflected, the best families aren't born into existence. They're forged in moments of desperate bravery, in late-night diners, in the decision to trust a dangerous stranger with $3 and a prayer. And sometimes, just sometimes, the scary man who shows up is exactly the hero you needed all along, not in spite of his darkness, but because of it. Because he understands monsters. Because he knows how to fight them. Because he's brave enough to become the protector instead of the threat. Alexei returned, sliding back into bed beside her. She's asleep, dreaming of unicorns and rabbits having adventures. No more monsters? No more monsters. He pulled her close. Not for her. Not for you. Not ever again. That's my promise. And Cara believed him. Because Alexei Volkov, the dangerous vor who'd kept a promise to a 5-year-old girl, had never broken his word. Not once in 3 years. Not ever. Their family, unconventional, complicated, and absolutely perfect, had been built on that first promise, and it would last a lifetime on all the promises that followed. Thank you so much for watching until the end. If you love this story, check out the other videos on your screen now. I think you'll really enjoy them. And don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. See you in the next story.